This hand is going to come up and around, so it's going to have that feeling. And as that happens, I'm going to attack or attack. This hand could be pulling their hair. Onegaishimasu. Welcome back to the Goju Ryu Karate Center. This week we're getting ready for Christmas, so lots of decorations in the dojo, starting to look a little bit festive. As everybody goes on their holidays and hopefully has a little bit of a break and is watching, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notifications button, and leave some comments. We've had some wonderful comments of late from various people around the world, and we do appreciate it, and we're working towards things that you request in the comment section. Tonight I'm going to move up systematically for everybody and move on to Geki Sai Dai Ni kata. And although this is my kind of idea of Kihon Bunkai, it's going to be a slightly more advanced type of Bunkai compared to Geki Sai Dai Ichi Bunkai in the last video. The reason for this is quite simple. What we're working on is developing the understanding of the kata and not just sticking to one or two moves only, but allowing the student to develop an understanding of what might happen in a protracted or drawn out bit of conflict where my opponent may hit back. There are a lot of people who do Bunkai or Kihon or explanation of karate where there is a single attack from the attacker. And then they stand and they kick and hit 5, 7, 8 times. In the real world, none of this happens. And for all the people out there who are into the more applied, pragmatic, and practical types of Bunkai, this is where most karate people sadly make themselves really, really bad because they say this is what it ought to be. Please remember, we're doing very basic ideas with the intention of a student having some basic kernel of knowledge that they would then build on and in time develop a little bit more of a sophisticated fighting mentality. So Embo-sen or line Bunkais for me developed this because we allow the attacker to attack a second time. Yes, it is still prearranged and it has a certain element of planning that takes place, but it does allow people to see that the kata does allow for the attacker to attack, and the next move in the kata may be useful. So this is very important, and we have to cover this so that we can move on to Saifa. If we don't do this, we can't do Saifa. Okay? Because then Saifa, this move on its own, is meaningless unless you go down a little bit of a wormhole and create an effective ending for this. Classically, this is just breaking the hand free, and it is naturally followed up by a block and an uraken because the attacker is attacking a second time. So, it is natural progression that we're now following. Okay, so similar format to last time. And it is going to start with the basic ideas, a little bit of analytical description, and then using my student Brian as uke or tore to help us demonstrate, and hopefully you will still hear us nice and clearly through face masks. Okay, so let's start with basic ideas. So number one, come on. My attacker as usually is attacking off the right hand side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and paste Geki Sai Dai Ichi's first Bunkai. So I'm going to do one, move to the outside, deflect, face block. Going to match feet, punch for his head. The attacker at this point is going to block, and they are going to counter attack. As they counter attack, I'm going to swivel, watch that again. From here, it's like I'm stepping towards the back. I'm going to twist my body a little bit. I'm going to deflect with this hand. I'm going to slide in and strike to wood. And back to my original position. So moving off the left hand attack, jodan zuki. I'm going to block. I am going to come back forward. My opponent is going to block Hike-uke or jodan-uke. He's going to counter jodan. I'm going to bring my leg back and swivel. I'm going to block, slide in, and strike. Obviously, I'm going to be looking this way. When you use gashi, so you maintain zanchi. Okay, so real speed, something like this. To the other side. Okay, so my Brian is here to help us, and we're going to go through this same idea that we had last time, trying to give you the best possible sighting, so that you can see the little nuances in the techniques, and that we can cover what's going on. We're not going to go fast, purely because we're working towards the idea that on the video, you get the best possible idea what's going on, that you can work with a partner and use this as an aid. So, Bunkai number 1. He's punching jodan first. 1, 2, 3. As I punch, he's going to block, and then he's going to step through, punch, gedan, strike. Okay, let's go through this again. Get back. As he punches, 1, 2, he uses his arms to up and block, 3, 4. And again, I wait for him to go back, then I go back. Alright? Bunkai number 1. Okay, moving on. Bunkai number 2. We're going to again cut and paste from Geki Sai Dai Ichi and put the two movements together with a slight tweak. So, attacking and stepping through and punching Chudan zuki. I'm going to shift to the inside, Chudan uke. Make space, maegeri, empi, uraken. They're going to try and punch for the floating ribs. I'm going to block down. I'm going to clear by pressing. And then I'm going to drive the gyaku. Okay? So I'm moving to the inside, blocking Chudan-uke, kick, elbow, uraken. They're going to punch for floating ribs. I'm going to block down, press, and gyaku. Okay? Real speed. Side. Okay, Bunkai number 2. Right, back behind. He's going to punch Chudan zuki. We're going to go to the inside block. Going to make space. 1, 2, 3. Punches. 4. I push his arm. I create an opening. Create an opening and punch. So this side. Okay. He punches. 1, 2, 3, 4. As I do this, create an opening to punch into the center. If you wanted to, groin or face. Jodan, jodan, chudan, gedan. Okay, this hand pressing. Okay. We're moving on now, and what I thought I would do is do a variety of bunkai for the next couple of moves. So we're going to do the first change in Geki Sai Dai Ni kata, which is the 3 Hike-uke. blocking techniques. Alright, so this is going to be very basic, a little bit different, also basic idea for a problem, and then something that is more in line with being a little bit more advanced. So this is the little gemstone, hopefully, in the Bunkai for tonight, because it's going to be more than one explanation. Explanation number one. I'm going to move with the same attitude as the previous Bunkai. I'm going to move inside, but I'm going to take a little bit of a step back and block. So 45 to, not quite 45 degrees, but the idea of going on the inside and blocking Hike-uke. Second punch is going to come, I'm just going to shift a little bit, block this way, and I'm going to step through, strike jodan. Okay? So a little bit back, one. When I go back, I'm also going off the line slightly. Okay? And I'm blocking. Second attack is coming, so a little shift, and then two. So the attacker will punch Chudan zuki, gyaku. Chudan zuki, gyaku in this particular attack sequence. Real speed, something along the lines of this. Okay, that's Bunkai number one. Right with back in line. He's going to punch Chudan zuki. I'm going to move slightly back as he punches to absorb one. He's going to punch a second time, and shift and strike. What's important here, with your hands this way, no leverage. The moment I bend, creates a little bit more leverage. Do that one again. Right back to line. 1 second, 2. As this comes here, this hand comes down. Bend that wrist, reach the top of your hand, bend and press, and strike. Okay? Bunkai, idea number two. Maybe you come from a dojo where being on the inside is drummed into your head that this is not a good place to be because of that second attack. And if you mess up, if the punch is a little higher or a little bit lower and you're getting clonked, maybe it's not a good idea to be there. So, we're going to move to the inside, and straight away what we're going to do is we're going to push this arm underneath, trap the arm, and raise the arm up. We're going to take a little bit of a drop, step over, and press down here. And from there, pull and strike. Now, if you pull back this way, you're pulling just along the arm. If you pull back this way, bend, okay, you may be affecting the wrist. So let's watch this again. Okay, I'm going to move as if it's the left side attack. I'm going to block to the inside. I'm then going to scoop my arm underneath their attack. So I'm essentially trapping their arm here. Lift it up and down, and as I pull back, this hand is going to slide down and bend that wrist and strike jodan. Okay? Thank you, Masuda Sensei. I learned something. I hope it's okay. Then, let me do Bunkai number two for you. Real speed. My opponent is going to attack. Let's go left hand. I'm going to move to the inside. So as he punches, one. And I'm going to go underneath to trap his hand to help lift and strike. When I bring this hand to the chamber, I'm going to bend his wrist. Okay? And
and I'm going to use that to help create that leverage. So I move to the inside, attack, one, trap, little bit lift. If my opponent was taller, I drop, 2, 3, and 4. This hand striking to the side, here. You can be careful of your opponent's eyes in dojo, but in the street, that is a great hack. This thumb tapping into the base underneath his chin, and the 2 pulling down. Okay, you're tapping a saliva gland, believe it or not. Over here, I'm obviously attacking the eye as an organ. Bunkai number 3. I'm going to move to the outside, and I'm going to block to the outside. I'm going to grab and pull in. The next attack, instead of being a block, is actually going to move up, and I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to stretch for the eyes, and if the person has hair, I'm going to pull their hair back, and then I'm going to strike. Far more graphic, far more dangerous. So move to the outside, block, bend the wrist, pull the head back, and then strike. Okay, real speed. You'll notice my returning hand comes to the chamber. Might not return very much. It might stay in that position during the actual bunkai. Okay, that's bunkai number 3. So right leg back to mine. I'm going to the outside straight away as he attacks. 1. This hand is going to come up and around, so it's going to have that feeling. And as that happens, I'm going to attack or attack. This hand could be pulling their hair as you attack. Okay, we do that one again. So, 1. Okay. Okay, we're now going to move towards the end of the kata. It's the first time we're coming into contact with the technique Mawashi, sometimes called Toraguchi, by Japanese exponents of Goju Ryu, and I would like to work towards having many bunkai for this one technique as it is fitting and deserves. So the bunkai I will do will be incredibly simplistic at first, considering that this movement is found in so many Goju katas, from basically Geki Sai Dai Ni, all the way up to Superunbe, not including Sanshin and Tencho kata where it also occurs. And Tencho kata is a massive analysis of Mawashi technique in its own right if you break down the movements. So please, if you'd like to know more about Sanshin and Tencho, look at the videos that we've done on that. But Mawashi is one of those very dense, multi-layered techniques, and today I'm just going to touch the outside. Okay, I'm going to use a similar kind of idea that we used in Geki Sai Dai Ichi, and this idea is the following. I'm going to move slightly to the inside. I'm going to deflect the Chudan zuki with this hand. I'm going to block as a secondary block on that same technique. Press it away. I'm going to bring my hands into the chamber. At this point, I'm in Sanshin Dutch. I'm going to shift forward. I'm going to place a hand on the hip, hand on the shoulder, and I'm going to press out. Okay, I'm going to move to the inside, deflect, catch and push away, create an opening, slide in, hand on the hip, hand on the shoulder, press away. I teach Sanshin first, Most people don't have the structural strength to do cat stance correctly. Alright, so the cat stance version would look a little bit different. I will go inside, 1, 2, exact same movement. Block, clear the arm, hand on the hip, hand on the shoulder, and I will press by stepping forward with my front leg and thrusting with my back leg. Push my opponent away. 1, 2, 3. Okay, slightly different timing on the second one. Okay, if I'm looking for an upgrade, especially adult beginners who are looking at a little bit more practical minded ideas, I will stick to using Sanchin. 1, 2. Instead of putting the hand on the hip, it is a hand into the groin and a hand into the face. And grab and squeeze. And we're going to do a couple of variations based on what I showed in the fresh air version. So, I think let's stick to the right side. In fact, please, when Brian punches Chudan, I'm going to move Sanchin, clear the arm, hand on the hip, shoulder, shift my body in, and press. Yeah, very hard to press with your arms, but it's easier to press with your entire body. Okay? Option number 2, same bunkai, but I'm going to start utilizing the correct stance. Anti attacks, 1, 2, and then press, long stance. Option number 3 is the adult option. Just wait a little bit, please, Brian. Let's go back, come on. Anti attacks, 1, 2, groin, face, squeeze. Hey. Okay, so that wraps up our Bunkai session on Geki Sai Dai Ni. It is not a lot of added on extra Bunkai. The cuts are virtually identical. But the concept of the line is very, very important. I didn't cover the strike. I don't know if you noticed that, but if you explore Geki Sai Dai Ichi and Geki Sai Dai Ni, you will start developing a couple of other ideas. And if you want to see some of those ideas, please have a look. We did a video earlier during the lockdown here in South Africa where we did some explanations, some alternative ideas on this move, possibly leading into this move. And go and have a look at that and see how it goes. And again, once more, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. I know a couple of people have asked for cipher. I'm getting there. Give me a week or so. You'll have a very basic Kihon type Bunkai for cipher. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Sayonara.